Well now, good morning everyone, and looking out the study window this morning, it is a lovely looking day, but rather cold and a bit cloudy, but I hope your day has started well. Now today is day 27, it's Monday the 27th of April 2020, and the title in our little book this morning in the series is called King in the Wilderness. If I had read this in any other book, and I was a non-believer, I'd have guessed that the author was somewhere between Jeffrey Archer and Stephen King. Cunning, supernatural in places, good against evil. And I don't mind telling you that I've conscripted a little bit of assistance with today's notes from one or two commentators. You know, from sitting on a hillside, minding his own business, minding his father's business, which was looking after the sheep, David has been catapulted into the limelight. Like a roller coaster, if you like. David's story has had a number of dramatic highs and lows up to this point. He is anointed, he's glorified by God, and he's loved by God. But also he is threatened to the point where he has to flee. Now, you know, from the previous couple of chapters, Saul has flung a spear at him. In this section of texts, which cover almost 3 chapters, let me encourage you to read them. The highs and lows continue as David is on the run from Saul. Now, not surprisingly, these chapters involve a lot of movement from one place to the other. I mean, a man on the run cannot sit still. These chapters also demonstrate important qualities of David's character. He is a fugitive, but he isn't lawless. Instead, he acts like a king, behaving with generosity and courage, leading others and taking responsibility for his actions. Not many people do that today. His good character and relationship with God are in stark contrast with Saul, aren't they? Whose character is deeply flawed and whose relationship with God has become almost non-existent. Now, because we know that at this stage of David's life, everything about this is temporary, it's not that difficult for us to read. It would have been a lot more difficult for David living in those times because he wouldn't have known the outcome. But we know that his future is secure. We know the outcome. But we have to read it on the basis that David doesn't know that. So here he is, he's on the run, but he will be settled. And though he is a fugitive, he will become the next king. But we shouldn't read this section too quick either, nor miss out on the drama, or miss out on the trauma, just because we know it's going to end well. And for us, surely whenever we read that even David's close and favoured relationship with God does not endure a free life of struggles, can't we take some comfort from that also? The path for the Christian can at times be rough. It can be steep. It can be awkward. We can ask ourselves from time to time, what is going on here? But think about this. God answers David, but God is also silent with Saul. There are many good qualities of David shown to us in these chapters. He's brave, he takes responsibility, he is generous, and he trusts God. We also see Saul's poor qualities as well, especially his suspicion, his jealousy, his anger, and his violence. And one agonizing and upsetting aspect of these chapters is that God answers David but doesn't answer Saul. In a number of places, David seeks God's advice, and in each one, God answers him. Now, this may seem unremarkable to those of us who have been raised up with an understanding that God always answers, even if it may not be the answer that we would like. But God does not answer Saul when Saul speaks to God. Now, further on in the book, in 1 Samuel 28, God's silence is once again repeated. The writer of 1 Samuel writes in chapter 28 and 6, when Saul inquired of the Lord did not answer him. Saul says in 28 and 15, he says, God has turned away from me and answers me no more. Friends, a heart that is not right before God can surely not expect that relationship to be right. When things are not always easy for David, but he does have a relationship with God. And having a relationship with God does not guarantee that things will always be easy. It doesn't. But that presence and relationship are particularly welcome in those times in our lives when we feel as if we were like David and on the run. Have you ever felt that way? That everybody's conspiring against you? All things they're just not working out the way you want them to work out, and you think, what is going on here? My friends, as God's children, truly saved, truly looking to God in these days of great uncertainty, take comfort that, like David, your future is in the hands of a God who loves you and cares for you and will answer your prayers. Maybe not in the exact way that you would like them to be answered. But whatever the answer is, it is God's decision, and we must leave it there. And may he give you the grace, and me the grace, to be able to accept the outcome of that. The Lord bless you real good this day.